And hello everyone, I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with my co-host,
Take.
And we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Oompa donkeys. Oompa donkeys? That's the Oompa Loompa side of the factions. All those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons, especially those Oompa donkeys. Yeah, you know, that's you got to watch out. It's the other side of the orange man bad. Yeah, so it's really those Oompa donkeys. So, how's it going, Tank?
Everything's coming together. You know, I'm so encouraged by the New York Assembly. You know, they've gathered together in force, and everybody's working on their documents. The biggest challenge right now, actually, is everybody getting a witness. Right? They need two or three witnesses. They need two witnesses on some of the documents and just one on another. And everybody's locked at home, so it's the biggest challenge we have right now. But you know, it looks very official. We got our 4 investigators ready to go, and you know, should be pretty good stuff. You know, we've really done a majority of the work on this, being that we did all this for the vaccines, and you know, if Governor Cuomo talking about how nothing will return to normal until the Corona vaccine is out, right? Which also Bill Gates said, and also the governor of California said. So you can imagine that was one of the talking points that came out, right?
Yeah.
That,
Bill Gates also
slipped in.
Bill Gates also slipped in that 18-month date. For some reason, they want everyone to stay home for 18 months. You know, how is that going to work?
Yeah, how is that going to work? You know, thinking about it, you know, because we do take, it takes about 8 weeks for people to completely kind of reset physiologically to something being normal. So I don't know about 18 weeks or 18 months. You know, you lock everybody up for a year and a half, and it's gonna be like Groundhog's Day when people come outside. You know, they're gonna be afraid to, you know, peek their head out. But we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't think that's going to work out for most people. I think we're already seeing signs that people are going to be driving in their cars in protest, right?
President Trump came out today, and he was, you know, and the New York Assembly folks posted this, and he was encouraging Minnesota to liberate themselves, Virginia to free themselves, all these different places, basically saying, get out there, you know, don't accept it, which I think is a pretty unique phenomenon, right? That you have your president basically encouraging people to not comply with this local state governments.
Yep.
I mean, that's how I took it. You know, who knows what it meant, but
yeah. Well, it's you know, the governance, you might want to call them corporate governance that they have everyone, you know, believing as a government. So. Well, I've also picked up on a couple of things that Trump was saying, right, that is also kind of interesting, because at the same time that he is projecting that we're now going to open up, and this is, you know, we're going to do it in these stages incrementally, and it's over the next couple of weeks, right? So very positive, right? We've made it past, but he also took the time out to say, you know, we're fighting in 184 countries the invisible enemy. And the way he started to speak about it was really from his heart, right? And there was like still a big battle being fought. So I think that he's really this one battle line or front line is against the virus is well underway, but the other battle is ongoing. So we have QAnon saying FISA equals start. So declassifying of the FISA is going to be the start of this, where everything goes crazy. And the question is, that's going to happen with the indictments, right? Where they're going to basically say, okay, we're arresting these people, we're putting them into jail, and here is now the declassed FISA. But who is it going to be? So X22 today was kind of pushing that it's going to be Obama. And I tend to think that is it. His point is that QAnon is saying it's going to shock the world, right? It's going to be shocking. It's going to be totally something you're going to take a double take, triple take at. What? The sleeping people will wake up with this. And if it's like Clapper, no one even knows who he is. Brennan, they don't even know who he is, right? Comey, well, they might see him on TV all the time, but they say, so what? He deserves it. He's so arrogant. But they won't
Right.
They won't think much of it. McCabe, Strzok, Page, Orr, Bruce Orr, Rosenstein, any of them get indicted, great. No one's going to be shocked. Hillary?
Hillary would be shocked. I think Hillary might be a bigger shock than Obama.
Well, if they take down Obama, then they all go, right? So I think
if you take down Obama, you have to take down Hillary at the same time.
Oh, I would say it's implied. I think in that you're right. But Obama would be the focus, right? Because, and that's what's lining up in the Q post. So let's take a look. Let me go ahead. I'll share my screen. In a second here. Okay. Wish I had one button to make this all happen. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go back a little bit, right, to this one right here. This was from the 17th. So this is NPR, right? There's an interview, and Obama is speaking about this, and it says, "Think then, think now," and then basically saying to start at 1540 and think about knowingly. So that is here. So there's just a 1543. This is NPR's exit interview. And let me show this fair use notice, as we're having commentary about what's being talked about. Okay, so go back to here.
This was the comedian Trevor Noah the other day. And you said a number of things in a row. You observed that there had been contacts between members of Mr. Trump's staff and Russian officials. You noted that Trump benefited from the hacks. Your spokesman, Josh Earnest, has gone on to say this week that it's obvious that Trump knew what was going on. To what extent are you suggesting some kind of cooperation between the president-elect and Russian officials here?
Well, I'm not suggesting cooperation at all. Keep in mind that those statements were in the context of everyone now acting surprised by the CIA assessment that this was done purposely to improve Trump's chances. And my only point was that shouldn't be treated as a blockbuster because that was the worst kept secret in this town. Everybody understood that. It was reported on. Steve, if you go back and look at your stories, if you read any mainstream publication, you would see that if you have a hack of the DNC and a hack of Hillary Clinton's most senior advisor's emails. And those things are then released in drip, drip, drip fashion over the course of months, and that seem to generate consistently negative coverage, despite the fact that there's nothing in there that's particularly.
Let's end it there. So there's 2 points in what he's saying. Number one, everybody knew, knowingly, right? So they knowingly know that the Russians are involved with something, right? That is now proven in the latest declassified documents. Now, Dan Bongino had basically covered this on his broadcast from yesterday, and it's saying that the George Papadopoulos was not able to give them the material they needed because he was denying this. So they couldn't make him the focus of this, right? They couldn't make him the reason they got a FISA warrant, because he kept adamantly denying them and said he wasn't going to give information to the campaign. He just blew it off like, no, I can't do that. That's treason. He openly basically said he's not getting involved with that because it's the wrong thing and everything. So they had nothing on him, right? So that the date at which then comes into play is the FBI and the State Department and Brennan were all basically saying that they did not know that this information came from the STEELE dossier, right? It came from other sources. And this is like in November and December and later on, right? When they're talking about this stuff. But they actually already knew. They knew from back in June, right? And so they denied it, but because that's when Papadopoulos was basically, they were trying to entrap him, right? But the stuff from the STEELE dossier came out and was known about in June. And so it's stated in the new document declassification. So first they declassed the footnotes, then they declassed the document that says that the State Department knew, right? We've seen this document before if you've been reading this up, but this other stuff was blacked out. The blacked out part now release shows that Brennan knew. It shows that the FBI knew that this came from the STEELE dossier only. There was not another source. It was only the CIA. So them basically trying to push it off on other sources doesn't exist. It was a lie. They knew it came from the STEELE dossier. So since everyone knew it, so did Obama. Obama knew.
Right.
He orchestrated. Kerry, as Secretary of the State, he also admitted to this. Everybody knew. Kerry is saying on one of those Twitter videos that we saw. So they're going to take out Obama. That's what it's looking like. I think that is the case.
So, my question with these things is, it's not like they just proved this, right? There's enough public evidence to show that these guys have committed a crime, right?
Yes.
So, I guess the question I have is, what do they take him down for? Because it's not going to be enough to take him down for some technicality, right? And I think what will really shock the world isn't even going to be who goes down. It's going to be for what?
Yeah, it's treason.
What are they going down for?
It's treason. It's treason. Even in this interview, he said it's the one that's already won the election, right? Trump has won the election. He's going to come into this. He's going to be the president, and they actively were trying to undermine him and remove him from office. That's treason. All right. So that's what they're going to take him out. There's more to it, right? I think that they're going to lead into that. So here's this next one over here from Obama. Trained and supplied ISIS. Trump destroyed ISIS, right? So he openly says that he's funding ISIS. So we'll bring that up. Let's see if it's still there.
He says it. He says it openly?
Oh, he says it openly, yeah. Yeah, here.
that he's funding ISIS.
Yes.
Was moving too slowly.
Wait.
But, as I've said before, this aspect of our strategy was moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
There you go.
As I've said before, this aspect of our strategy was...
He funded
Oh, I mean,
ISIS
I guess that
and
it's
trained it.
surprising. I mean, it's like when the CIA trained the, you know, the revolutionaries in Cuba too, right?
Sure.
The guerrilla forces.
No, it's ongoing.
Pretty,
You know,
pretty standard process, yeah.
it's very standard, right? So, but you know, it's all lining up, right? So, you know, well, we're going to see that Jack Dorsey from Tweeter.
Peter.
I should call it Tweeter from now on. So that he talked about pasta and satanic verses, right, back in the day. Right. So this
You know, Walter Cronkite came out when he retired, and he said he was the only path for peace is a global government, a new world order. He says it outright. I never heard that until recently.
So here it is. So making good pasta, reading some amazing parts of satanic verses, the golden threads to begin to intertwine. Yeah. So yeah, no wonder he's so like Twitter is one of the places where they doing the heavy censorship. All right. So there's that, and well, I'm gonna go. So here's Trump now talking about hydroxychloroquine and what I guess they call the Z-Pack, the azithromycin, taken together as a real chance to be one of the biggest game changers in the history of medicine. The FDA has moved mountains. Thank you. Hopefully, they both will. H works better with A. Internal Journal of Antimicrobial Agents, whatever that is, that journal. So and that's from March 21st, 2020. So I'm trying to scoot through these, but that's really, here's this one right here. This is renegade, right? So what is renegade? A person who deserts and betrays an organization, country, or a set of principles. And they're showing Obama. So I think that's it's really showing that they're really going to be going after Obama. I think that's what's lining up here. So there's a couple more here. I'm just going to go through quickly.
I like that the Punisher logo has become the new symbol.
Yeah, it seems similar to your logo, right?
Yeah. My logo and also the Spartan logo. Pretty similar.
Let's see what this is about.
Los Angeles, California. Where we go on?
You go off.
Oh, okay, one of those. All right, good.
Los Angeles, California.
Okay, we got it.
Okay, yeah.
All right, yeah, the Punisher logo. We are ready. Set one. Now I don't know exactly what set one is, but pointing to Lou Dobbs.
Joining us tonight, investigative reporter John Solomon, editor-in-chief of his new media outlet, Just the News. John, great to have you with us. More and more is being revealed, but it's great to have you. And more is being revealed, but it all is much the same thing. It's all about FBI official political corruption. And this is even more emphatically damning because it's very clear that the FBI under President Obama knew that a Russian intelligence operation was being run, a disinformation campaign, and with the help of an former MI6 operative who was at the center of the FBI investigation and effort to overthrow the president, the man who would become the president of the United States. This is outrageous. And it gets more outrageous by the day because no one's been held accountable.
Yeah. Listen, in my worst nightmare, I could never imagine what would have come out this week. The level of information that the FBI had that raised red flags that they should have never, not even for a moment, entertained Christopher Steele as a human source, as a confidential informant, is now overwhelming. Overwhelming evidence. Let's think of the things we know. One of the people he was talking to was a Russian intelligence official who was under surveillance by us. They had a separate FISA on him, yet they were taking Christopher Steele's word that that was credible information. His other source disowned it. He's paid by Hillary Clinton. Some of his information is disproven right away. He exaggerates his record at MI6. All of these things came out this week. Christopher Steele should never have been shown a door inside the FBI. And instead, we sustained 2.5 years of an investigation into false allegations, put this country and our president through an unnecessary process.
We'll leave it there. Well, it is the case. So the Punisher is on his way. I guess he's also one of the Punishers of the American flag. But this is into this. See, this is a Twitter feed. Greetings from Maryland, DC, Hawaii, and beyond. I guess it's where we go when we go home. But this is what I think is more interesting right here. This harvested cornfield. So the corn has already been cut down. What's left behind is just the corn husk in the field. So let's see, what are we talking about here? Oh, I think this is just that musical thing. Yeah, this is just a meditation. You're just listening to this. We're not going to listen to it, but and then the last one that's listed here. Ex-military here, Q. Please don't let us down. We're willing to die then and still willing to die now. So do us proud, please. For God and country, brother. So, we're right in the midst of this harvest, right? Which is kind of interesting about the harvesting programs and stuff like that we've been talking about. So let me switch back here. There we go. So now who's being harvested at this point is the deep state, right? So it's kind of like the counter. Like they've been harvesting us, now they're the ones to be harvested. Live by the sword, die by the sword. So I can see it that way.
Yeah, no, I can see it that way. I mean, I'm thinking about it myself. If the corn has already been harvested, it makes me wonder if that's a potentially more of a galactic reference. Because if they were waiting on a harvest for something else, I mean, like we know that they have these earthquakes out in Utah because there's actually rare earth elements there that are very valuable, apparently for time travel, which I don't know about how that's done, but maybe the things that they always thought that they had access to, they're gone. Like all the things that Kim has put in the vault that they thought they were going to have control of.
So they're gone. So so they're running out of things that they can manage, but they're still executing their plan, right? How feeble it is and how it's falling apart. It does seem like they're the pandemic is on its way out, right? Trump says, "Oh yeah, vaccines, yeah, but that'll take another year. So let's focus on actually something that actually cures it." So we don't have to worry about this. The interesting thing is that once you've taken this hydroxychloroquine, it also prevents you from catching it later. It makes you resistant.
Right. Right.
You no longer get.
Imagine that. Oh, so it's actually a cure and prevention. Wow,
so it actually does what the vaccines are supposed to do, and without making you sick. Without putting fetal body parts into your body or mouse DNA that's genetically altered to be human, whatever kind of garbage that they're putting into these vaccines, literally garbage.
It's terrible.
So
it's a nightmare. Vaccines
it is a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
A potion of just horrifying proportions, right?
Right.
That you would never allow if you were to take them orally and give them to your child, you would be put in prison. But if you put it in the form of a shot and call yourself a doctor, claim that there's, it's amazing. I've been in very vicious arguments with doctors. They're like friends, like close friends, and they were like, "It's ridiculous. You can't take the risk." It's like, what are you talking about? There's no research done. There's nothing that proves what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's not even evidence really that vaccines work effectively, not on the way you want to use them. If you're going to use something on the entire population, and it was good for everyone, you should be able to prove they work.
Right.
You think?
Yeah, show me the study. Yeah. I asked my daughter this a while back, right? And say, show me the study, right? And she said, well, they gave me a pamphlet. I said, oh, well, okay, but where's the study?
See, we're doing this the wrong way. We're doing shows and putting together little movies. We just need a pamphlet.
That's it. Just need a
Put it out there.
Yeah, duh. Why didn't I think about that? We just need a pamphlet. Put them in all the doctor's offices. Just like the magazines are laying out in the front office, right? No one knows where they come from. Just stack up, stack a bunch of pamphlets out there.
That's a great idea. I mean, if you ever want to do like some, vigilant, some guerrilla advertising, right? Just go out to every single doctor's office. Just down in the waiting room. Drop your magazine. In the midst, start putting your advertisements, your flyers inside every single magazine. Say, did you know there's no studies done on vaccines? That would be a good movement. We have to set that up.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh, and did you know that all these things are inside vaccines that to shock your immune system? Well, it shocks me to read it.
Yeah. I think that would be really. I might have to start doing that. That's a great idea.
Just
Maybe always have a stack or something with me. Yeah.
Yeah, just need a pamphlet. That's it.
So they're going to take down Obama for treason because he rigged the FISA court, or what specifically do you think is going to be the charge?
Well, the spying of the campaign goes back to then, right? Because even that's illegal, right? They did not have a reason to do it. They only had the salational garbage that was put together by STEELE, that was paid for by Hillary. There was no Russian hack of the DNC server, right? That was, proven to be, Seth Rich, a DNC insider, who put the stuff on a thumb drive and gave it to Julian Assange.
Right. Exactly.
So they had no basis to say that the Russians were doing anything, right? But they used this event with Hillary's emails, like to basically have you focus. Hey, don't look at what's in the emails. Look at the reason why they were trying to get the emails, right?
Yeah.
It was because of Trump, right? The Russians were getting it for Trump. Don't look what's in the emails. Look at who was trying to get it. It was the Russians for Trump, right? So they use this narrative, right, to force this to move forward, right? So that they could get someone into the spy on Trump. So Carter Page was then then they tried the same thing with him. Now he was actually a real informant for the CIA. Right? He wasn't. If you listen to his early interviews, you had no idea who Carter Page was. He's a very successful businessman, right, with international businesses, and because he was going overseas, and he would, end up interfacing with different countries, the CIA would just say, "Hey, can you tell us what your impression is about this, about that?" Just inform the CIA. So CIA knew who he was, right? So they can say, well, he had contact with Russians. So then they set him up to see some event that was being put together, and they scheduled that. So they just tried to frame them, right? They tried to set up the situation to get them to look as though they were under the control of Russia. They even arrested Papadopoulos at the airport when he arrived, right? And the funny thing is it's because they gave him money for they gave him cash, right? They gave him cash for some reason in an envelope, right? And they knew he was going on the plane, right? Right?
Right.
And so when they arrived in, I don't know where in the United States, whatever airport, they arrested him, right? But he didn't have the cash on him. He didn't bring it with him. So they tried all of these things. That's why.
That's right. Yeah.
That's why.
Pop was definitely, he was informed. Like they tried to set him up, he ended up setting them up.
Right. Well, he did go to jail for, what was it, 2 weeks or a month? I forgot whatever it was, but it was like for nothing, right? It's just like Roger Stone, right? They this whole thing, they trumped this up, right, to make it look as though that they're doing something bad, and the public will have something to bite onto, right? Oh, look, there must be something wrong here because, right? But
well, and they keep saying it every time you see any of the guilty characters in an interview. They'll still reference the same things that have already been debunked.
Right.
It's the strangest thing. It's like, don't you know that was debunked? I mean, we all do. But I guess it's just they're counting on. It's like a popularity contest to them or something. And they're counting on.
Yeah. Well, since the media will only report one way, right, which is completely counter to what the truth is, they can rely on that to the point where they can't. And that time is coming. You can see that Trump is now focused heavy duty on the press, right? I mean, he is like pushing stuff right back in their face. He's putting up a video montage to say, look, you're the guys that were saying this. I was the one that was acting. Or you're trying to flip it around and say I was the one that didn't act soon enough, and I'm the one that acted soon, and you all ridiculed me. Right? So he puts this montage together and pushes it right in their face, right during the time when everyone is watching. Right? So everyone's watching the daily briefings that are very successful, and I think Trump is going to continue to use these as a way to awaken everybody with the FISA. Declassification with basically the arrest of Obama, arrest of Hillary, and all the rest. He'll use these daily briefings for the virus and say, we're in the war against the invisible enemy. Here's another front line. Here's the traitors against the country.
Do you think he took that from us directly to do this every day like we did? Like he was like, that's a good idea, let's do that.
Yeah. We were the cause. That's true. Yeah, we're at 405 episodes straight in a row, and we're not going to stop until we get this done. Yeah,
that's right. I think he was like, those guys are onto something.
Yeah, that's
like Trump. I'm glad the president finally stepped up his game.
Yeah. Yeah, join us on the front lines.
Yeah, he's definitely a frontline president.
Yeah, so he's a wartime person.
All real generals are in battle. All real generals are in battle, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, he's definitely earned, field marshal status.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree.
He's marshaling all the forces from from 184 countries, right? I mean, it's just amazing, these battle reports in general. I guess he started at 152, he went up to 150, I think it was 154, right? Went back to 152 and went back up. Then it went to 180. Then that was 184 countries. Or 182 and
what does it
184.
mean?
Yeah.
I think I'm still in this, I'm still, I really don't know. Right now, the one thing that makes a lot of sense to me is what Kim said. She's just waiting for them to devour themselves. And then Thomas was, I don't know if this was intentional disinformation on Thomas's part, or if he was serious, but he was basically like, President Trump can come talk to us. Nobody else can, right?
Right.
And it's like, what would Trump be doing? What's the other option? I mean, seriously, you got to think. They brought in, they spent 6 weeks. No, I'm sorry. What am I saying? 3 weeks or 4 weeks before they got the first payment out, right, for emergency relief funding. They just got the first one, I think, was 4 weeks ago. 3 or 4 weeks. So they did the first payment out, and they only got out $72 million. They'd say they had other reserves, and they got out more, but not much. There's not much more money to bring out, right? So you got to think at some point, everybody's got to be asking, well, what are we going to do now? Where's the money? And everything's on the trust. And You know.
So let me share this with you. I just got curious while we're talking about this. How many countries are there?
Uh-oh. That's interesting.
So 195 countries in the world, right? This is comprised of 193 countries that are in the member states of the United Nations and 2 countries that are non-member observer states. The Holy See, that's Vatican, and the state of Palestine. Okay, then not in the list, right, not included, is Taiwan, right? The Cook Islands and Nibiru, no. And
that'd be awesome if it's done there. And the island of Atlantis.
And the island of Atlantis. Yeah, both of these are free association with the New Zealand. Okay, I guess they're part of New Zealand's. And then there's dependencies, areas, right? So this is kind of interesting. So now we're up to out of the. I wonder which are the 184 countries that are in the battle that are on our side, right, against the invisible enemy, right? So we're overwhelming them, but who are the other 11? Right, that's interesting. And the Holy See, where do they come down?
On the satanic pedophile hologram side.
Oh yeah.
Hey, check your Telegram, man.
Oh, you
check
got
your
that?
Telegram.
Okay, all right.
Cool stuff.
Let me get that.
Should be there. So, guys, we're going to show you a clip that I think is really amazing. Honestly, like we see so many crazy things now. It's almost like, oh yeah, that happened too. But when you really think about it, it's like, this is amazing. How is it possible?
Right.
This is of the Pope,
right. So
potentially either performing a miracle or not being real.
Okay. I'll share. Let's see if I can share this with you. Okay. It's kind of in the downloading state. So basically it says Pope disappears into thin air.
You know what? Here, Dan, let me share. I can share it. I forgot because there's no sound to it. I'll share it.
Okay. I got it all set up.
No, if you got set up, let it be. Because
let's see. So here it goes.
Oh, no, you're downloading pretty quick, all right?
Oh yeah, it did just disappear.
So here's the Pope. He's on the balcony. He says hello to everybody. And then he's walking back into the perfect time for the video to stall. It's awesome. Right? So you gotta watch. He's just walking back in. And then he's gone. Like they turned off the hologram machine. Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, they moved it right there.
Yeah.
Keep jumping away.
Yeah, he does just disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
He's gone.
The last part of it's just not showing up. Only half of this is downloaded, so I don't know what shows after that. But I'll switch it back over. Stop the screen shares.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty amazing. So it makes me wonder now. Like I saw this before with Hillary Clinton. She was on stage and she started to glitch, and the hologram started to go through like this whole thing. And I was like, "Is that real?" And it was like a live event.
Yeah.
Right?
So I wonder if this might be some tactic to prevent them from being shot. From a distance, right? There's some death threat against them, so they use this holographic projection system because there's a black background in that doorway, right? It's like a big curtain. So they need to have that background there so that it actually will have contrast for the hologram.
No kidding. So that's how they do it? I mean, because that was a really... I don't even know you could, at this point, get a hologram to look that real come out onto the actual porch, right?
Right.
it's almost like a ride at Disney World because people come from everywhere to see the Pope. Right? They probably just sit there. There's probably people outside at all times. Just hope he doesn't walk outside. So maybe they just have a program where the hologram walks out there, kind of like a giant cuckoo clock, where you have the little guys march out and ring the bell. Pope does the same thing. He just comes out, says hello, goes back in. It's just a hologram.
Yeah, that's it. Just a hologram.
Or when he came out and instead of saying that he was coming in as the Vicar of Christ and he came in his own name, he was really outing himself as the devil.
Yeah, well, it could
that's
be.
that.
It could be. At this point, they need to pull their prophecies together, right?
Oh yeah. They have to pull together the whole.
So
you have to have the rise of the Antichrist.
One of the things I've been thinking about in these prophecies is that they say that there will be 1 million men army, right, that will descend as part of the apocalypse, right? Well, there's only one country with 1 million man army, right?
United States, right?
So that's China.
Oh, China? I just assumed it was the United States. Okay.
Yeah.
China. Oh, wow. I was going to say, well, it's interesting. They're in the Islamic prophecy, right? In their second, like they have the Quran and they have
the 10th Imam.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
The 10th Imam.
But I know I had a roommate one time for a work function, and we talked about this the whole weekend. And he was telling me about how this advanced ideas. It's really, it's like the equivalent of Kabbalah is like spiritual, is like Jewish mysticism, right? It's like advanced, and really it's just Kabbalah, right?
Right.
Kabbalah, right? And then you have this is the same thing for the Islamic faith. They have this advanced, you're really, really high up, and he was saying how there'd be little yellow men underground building weapons, right? And I was like, huh. It's like, and yeah, it was right around the time when not Vietnam, but North Korea was testing nuclear weapons under the earth, is what was being told. Right?
Okay, yeah.
And I mean, stuff like that. It's pretty crazy stuff. I mean, so of course, they're playing out this very long-term plan that they had set up, right?
Right.
So it's all pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, what I was suggesting is with this the 1 million man army, right? It's going to do what? It's going to arrive where? Where the apocalypse is in Israel, right? Right? Isn't that part of the plan? And then that's when Jesus comes back and he stops the whole war from going forward. Right? Is his second or third coming. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, they rapture up all the real believers, right? So everybody disappears, which I believe that was set up to be the RV people, right? They were the real believers.
Yeah.
Right. And so all of a sudden, all the RV people would have disappeared, and everyone would have thought they were rich, right, in the kingdom of heaven. But in reality, they would have been in FEMA camps, probably buried under cement, right, without heads. And then you have the 7 years of judgment. So for 3.5 years, you have the rise of, the rise of a Christian leader, and then after that, you have 3.5 years of the Antichrist taking over, which some would say that Trump is the rise of that Christian, of that the true leader, the last hope for all humanity. And then the next one would be but I think he gets assassinated according to the rapture legends that are told in the church, which are not actually in the Bible, but they were brought into the church in the 70s or so. I mean, there's always been talk about the end of the world.
Sure, of course, yeah. It's always the part of it. So I was just wondering, in this apocalypse, as the 1 million men army is, so let's say that is China. Maybe the United States has 1 million men, and I guess I heard that Trump was calling up 1 million Marines. I thought he called up 140. It was 140,000, right? But how can he call up 1 million? Is there 1 million Marines? I don't know. But
retired reserves, I'm sure there are. Yeah.
So if it is, let's just say it is China, right? And I always thought of it.
Yeah, I think it is China. You're right.
Right. So I was just thinking all these years. I said, why would China, invade, Israel? What would make any sense, right? I mean, what's their stake in Israel? Why would they be pissed at Israel, right? Why would they want to send an army there, right? It didn't make any sense. So I always think, okay, it's a 1,000,000-man army, it's China, okay, but why? Why would they do it? What would be their inspiration, their motivation to cross the Europe and get to the Middle East and get to Israel? Why would they be pissed enough to do that, or what would be their main motivation?
Well, it's interesting. This is why, like, having a world that's in a perpetual state of war, right? You can create all of these scenarios, right? So you can, I potentially see how, like, they were really pushing to kind of do some kind of zombie apocalypse type stuff, right? So, if you pushed everything back and it was like, if there's something special about Israel, you can see how, they're going to attack Israel because of whatever. I mean, remember, the Chinese troops were there to attack in Afghanistan, right? And all their equipment got shut down. But that was really just had something to do with the poppy fields, whatever heroin industry or whatever it is. So you got to think, like, it always comes down to, like, control, killing off the population, making money. That's basically what they do.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, I just wondered if it had anything to do with if we say the Khazarian mafia side of this, the Zionist side of this, this whole plan to take over this particular area of land and make the state of Israel, nothing to do with the Jewish people, right? But just this area of land and the plan by the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds are playing in China, selling them on the idea that they're now going to be the new world leaders in this next world economy, right? And the battle is coming down to basically say, well, China just infected the world, right? and they're going to be looked at as the grand enemy of the whole world. Who are they going to be pissed at? Israel, the Zionist. See,
Okay.
It took a while to get around to that, right?
Yeah, no, I get it now. Yeah, of course.
My mind goes down some rabbit holes.
No, I get it, man. I get it. I love that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's weird. What do you think's going on here in the States with, like? I mean, you have a lot of states. There's real protests going on now, right? If they're protesting in your states, reach out to the protesters and tell them to stop protesting form an assembly. By the way.
Yeah. Well, tell them to start forming an assembly. I think when they do these street protests, right? Where everyone's driving in their cars, protests. I think this is going to expand, right? And so this is going to go. So get in your car, and then drive, and then bring some brochures with you, and say, here, we need to assemble in this state and form our own state assembly. Here's where it says so in the Constitution. This is all in the. So call this number, get assembled. We're replacing these jokers.
Yeah, I love it. I thought about this. Like, the next time they protest, I'd love to show up, like, while people are going crazy at the protest with, like, the verdict of the grand jury. Everybody dressed in suits, and just walk right through the crowds and serve the appropriate people and have them be like, okay, right this way, because that's the way it should be, on some level, I guess,
Right.
But I would like to see just real action, real progress for once. And I think we've got to see it now. We're pushing. You know what? We are seeing real progress on our end. The assembly, the group that is coming together in New York is, they're on it, man. They're on it. If I get one of the Iroquois guys to, serve on the assembly board, woo, it's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Well, we're making these steps, so this is what it's amazing that these things are all coming together right now, right? And like I said, we've taken these steps, and we talked about Trump now doing daily broadcasts, right? We're doing daily broadcasts. This is how you make things happen. You take action. You make a stand. we took a stand to put the front lines up and to come out and have this conversation and talk about this, and what do we need to do to organize? What are the things we need to do to create projects for the betterment of all of humanity, right? And so this is all it takes for everyone in every state, right? Organize, assemble, and I think you're right on the money when you say that the right to assembly has nothing to do with come together to protest. It's 100% to organize and put a structure in place to govern.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And really, it's like you have the right to assemble and protest the government. Well, we are exactly what we're doing. We are going to assemble. We are going to protest the government because they are not upholding the constitutional laws, and therefore they're destroying people. And how dare the government? I mean, it's really just a disgusting reality.
Hello. Oh, you got muted. He may have got another call coming in. So,
Sorry about that.
it's okay.
You know what? That is I'm going to have to attend. Man.
Okay. I'm gonna.
You're going to have to excuse me.
That's fine. You go take care
So
of business. I'm going to cover one more thing. I'll just let you know before you go about because we had talked about this off air. It's about the study that was done in 2005 or 2004, 2005 that showed that chloroquine,
Oh, that's really good stuff. Yeah.
you know, is already effective against COVID. So we already did the
Already
study.
been hey, make sure you send me that link too, because that's really important, folks, to put that out there. Because why do we have a pandemic for something we have a cure for?
Exactly.
All right, Dan. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. All right. So let me go ahead and I'll pull this up for everybody. This is I saw this video yesterday and I did some research on it. That was not the one. It's this one. Oh, that's just brought over to here. So that was taking you to learn more. So this is actually the high wire with Del Bigtree, right? So he's got a really good knack for finding some good information. So I focus it right here. This is from April 17th, so this is recent, right? So bombshell. NIH knew about chloroquine. So he's pointing out this study. Now he's got a nice video here. We're not going to go through that, but I say it's really well worth looking into. So just look up the high wire with Del Bigtree, and you'll find it. It's from yesterday. So this research was chloroquine is a potential inhibitor of SARS coronavirus infection and spread, and it names all these people, right? That a lot of these people work with Fauci, right? They've worked with him. That he knows about this study, right? So published 22nd of August 2005, right? So all this stuff happened back in 2005. The article is available at this web link right here, virologyj.com/content/2-1/69. I actually went and looked that up. It's on. Disappeared. It's on here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, this is the one. So this is really the chloroquine, a potential inhibitor of SARS, a coronavirus infection and spread. The abstract: severe acute respiratory syndrome (SARS) is caused by newly discovered coronavirus. No effective prophylactic or post-exposure therapy is currently available. The results report, however, that chloroquine has a strong antiviral effects on the SARS-CoV infection of primate cells. These inhibitory effects are observed when the cells are treated with the drug either before or after exposure of the virus, suggesting that both prophylactic and therapeutic advantage. That means they can use it, to prevent you from getting it, like a vaccine. So if you actually take this medicine, you could end up having a resistance to COVID. All of the COVIDs, that's the other thing. So In addition, the well-known functions of chloroquine, such as elevations of endosomal pH, the drug appears to interfere with the terminal glycylation of the cellular receptor. Oh, this is what this is what other people feel like when they're reading technical manuals, and I whiz right through them and saying all these words. So, angiotensin converting enzyme. This may negatively influence the virus receptor binding and abrogate of the infection, with further ramifications by the elevation of vascular pH, resulting in the inhibiting of infection and the spread of SARS-CoV at a clinically admissible concentration. So I want to point out that where it says that it is that the drug appears to interfere with the receptor locations, right? So basically what we're looking at is that these particular elements that were crisped into the COVID, which are about having it spread and lock in to the cells, these three markers that were patented by Fauci and the other two up there with Fauci from the CDC, all of them, have patented this to put it into a way of making a vaccine so that they can make money off of the vaccines. Just think how much money you make off of a worldwide vaccine. So this is this interferes with that. So it's directly stopping the infection from taking root in your lungs. Let me also bring this up. That's not the one. This is the one. FDA urged approval of chloroquine to treat COVID. So this is also this is Breitbart article from March 19th. So there's a push to make that happen, right? So here's more on this. Here's the abstract. We're really just talking about, again, this virus receptor binding aggregate an infection. So report, however, that chloroquine has a strong antiviral effects on SARS-CoV infection of the primate cells. These inhibitors affect the observation. Okay, that's what I just read. Okay, this was a good piece. So I'm just kind of trying to recap. So I looked here on this clinicaltrials.gov. And I'm basically searching on COVID-19 and chloroquine, and we have 43 studies found for this combination. So there's all this that are already underway, right? So here's some that are just on SARS-CoV-2, 2019 and COVID, and 2019 novel coronavirus. So there's already studies underway. All right, so it shouldn't be a surprise. Here. It shouldn't be a surprise that we now can say that there is a cure, right? That's going to come out from the FDA, and it's going to be soon. I don't know if it's a week from now. I don't know if it's today. I don't know if it's on May 1st. But I think that as part of this rollout, right, of the start back up, is to basically say we have a cure, and we've had one. So why doesn't Fauci seem to know about it, since he works with these guys? I'm sure they had a conversation or two. So he knows about this, but why did he downplay it? Another point is, why did he not say that we're going to study chloroquine until after we already reached our peak and we're already descending in the number of cases? Why not? If there was any clue, especially the head of the French, head of the health department of France, saying it's the end of COVID. It's done. It's over. It's over for COVID. He said that. I think it was in February. You have someone of that stature, the head of another country's, health, saying that they already have done studies. It's over. Chloroquine cures it. What is the point of scaring everybody? Why is Fauci up there scaring everybody? Well, we all know the answer. He's looking at it as a part of the money. He's part of the deep state. He's been part of the deep state since George Bush Sr. And not a good guy. I think all these people up there, they're what they do on the side is they mess around with Ebola, and they mess around with SARS, and they mess around with AIDS or HIV, and they try and combine them in together. For what good purpose does that serve? They purposely are trying to create things that are going to be harmful to people. Forget that idea that if we don't do it, someone else was. No, you're the ones that are doing it. You're the ones that ended up having it released. The question, was it on purpose? It seems like, to me. Anyway, on that note, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Please go ahead and subscribe. Give a thumbs up if you like this, and give some positive comments, and we'll see you tomorrow.